Welcome to the June 2023 edition of Robert Reads. Today we're going to be taking a look at English poet John Masefield. Masefield was born on June 1st, and that's why I selected him. John Masefield was born in England in 1878. When he was 6 years old, his mother passed away from the stress of childbirth of his younger sister, and his father died shortly after that, which left him an orphan. When he was 13, he ran away to, basically to go seafaring. And he spent several years working on ships. And this provided him a great deal of firsthand knowledge and a deep appreciation for the sea as well as maritime life. Notably, in 1930, he was appointed as the Poet Laureate of the United Kingdom and held that position until his death in 1967. As Poet Laureate, he wrote poems to commemorate significant national events such as the death of King George V and the coronation of King George's granddaughter, Queen Elizabeth. Well, he was prolific as a writer. His literary output was quite diverse. He had a broad interest in writing in all types of writing, especially poetry, novels, and plays, and some nonfiction. What he's best known for is poetry, particularly narrative poems with the themes of adventure and the sea. He also achieved success as a novelist. His most famous novel, probably more popular in Britain than, say, here in North America, was The Midnight Folk, and often found in many family homes as a beloved children's fantasy book. Now, he also had a deep appreciation for the beauty and power of language. His writing is characterized by its rich imagery, very evocative descriptions, and a very strong commitment and discipline to rhythm and meter. He often used natural and maritime imagery to explore profound themes of human existence, nature, and metaphorically the spiritual journey. Now, his body work often reflected his humanistic and idealistic worldview. He celebrated the resilience of the human spirit, really feeling that life was more an adventure and that humans were quite resilient in that way. His poetry often conveyed a sense of wonder, emphasizing the importance of embracing life's experiences and finding meaning and beauty in the world. To this day, his work continues to resonate with a lot of readers. He's influenced a lot of writers that came after him. And his contribution to British cultural heritage is quite significant. His poetry has inspired countless individuals, and his storytelling abilities have captivated audiences across generations. His poems, such as Sea Fever, which is probably his most quoted and recited piece, and the poem Cargoes, they're considered classics and are frequently found in anthologies. His impact on literature has certainly been quite profound. So John Masefield, he took the role of poet laureate and treated it quite seriously. Um, he he wrote what I call royal commemorative verse. Specifically, I'm going to share with you two excerpts from longer poems that had to do one upon the subject being the death of King George V, which happened in 1935, and then the next would be the consecration of Westminster Abbey, which was celebrating the coronation of Queen Elizabeth II, who was King George's granddaughter. Her father was Albert for a short period of time as King of England. On King George V, he did this piece. Again, these are excerpts. The longer poems are quite good. He did the work of monarchs, and he bore the load of greatness in an age of war. Himself he gave to battle for his land, for others' needs, and took the thanks offhand. And in the old high, true, laborious way, expected naught, and went about his day. Obviously capturing the sense of humility that he he sensed in King George V. And then with Elizabeth, this one is again more evocative of imagery, but this was upon her coronation. She comes, the tall young queen, gold trussed and robed with heavenly blue, ringed with the sun's great aureole sheen. The light of the lucent air is through her every limb and feature seen, as up the vast cathedral scene. She moves on splendor and on fire to sit upon her Father's throne and take her land to give her own. So with the Royal Commemorative Verse excerpts that were just read, we certainly get a sense of the style of John Masefield. Very powerful and evoking sentiment, and also the imagery that gets married to that sentiment. I was tempted to recite Sea Fever, which is probably his most well-known piece, but I thought I would introduce the audience to another piece that's much like Sea Fever, but is a little bit more constructed, for lack of a better term, especially in its use of what I call bookend couplets at the start and the end of this poem. The poem's entitled A Wanderer's Song by John Masefield. A wind's in the heart of me, a fire's in my heels. I am tired of brick and stone and rumbling wagon wheels. I hunger for the sea's edge, the limit of the land, where the old wild Atlantic is shouting on the sand. Oh, I'll be going, leaving the noises of the street, to where a lifting foresail foot is yanking at the sheet, to a windy tossing anchorage where yawls and ketches ride. Oh, I'll be going, going, until I meet the tide. And first I'll hear the sea wind, the mewing of the gulls, the clucking, sucking of the sea about the rusty hulls, the songs at the capstan, at the hooker warping out, and there the heart of me'll know I'm there or thereabout. Oh, I am sick of brick and stone, the heart of me is sick, for windy green, unquiet sea, the realm of Moby Dick, and I'll be going, going, from the roaring of the wheels, for a wind's in the heart of me, a fire's in my heels. Well, that wraps up this session of Robert Reads for June 2023, where we took a look at the works of John Masefield. Again, many thanks to the Albron Library for all their assistance and help in allowing me to use this as a recording studio, if you will. And we'll catch you again right after the 4th of July next month. Enjoy.